in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Governor Leon Guerrero has approved a 22% pay raise for line agency classified government employees. I'm Nestor LeConta. We'll have the full story coming up.
Another home hit by thieves. A Chalampago resident speaks out after his home was targeted by thieves not once but over 4 times. I'm Matsuki Hirayama and I have the story on a thief caught on camera.
Assembling his team, I'm Tomas Manglona here on Capitol Hill as Governor Arnold Palacios names members of his cabinet.
Hafid and good evening. I'm Nick Delgado. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. A 22% pay raise is being proposed for a large group of Government of Guam employees. The governor Tuesday approving a new general pay plan submitted to the Department of Administration, which updates the pay scale for this class of workers for the first time since 2014. Nestor LeConto has the details.
The general pay plan adjustment follows similar pay scale updates implemented last year for nurses, law enforcement, and education employees. This is for the rest of the public workforce that doesn't fall into those categories. Administration Director Edward Byrne.
We adopted a similar approach for this pay plan that we did to other pay plans, but by its very nature and the fact that it covers so many different positions in the government, it required a whole lot more work and a little bit more time to complete.
A comprehensive review was conducted of the compensation of a broad variety of positions. More than 200 GovGuam positions were compared to equivalent government jobs in the mainland.
We actually looked at the kind of middle states, and we use that as our benchmark.
The general pay plan was last updated some 9 years ago. But are the adjustments justified, and can we afford them?
In order to get the right people, and by the right people, I mean skilled people, we want into the government of Guam, and to retain them, we have to pay a competitive wage. Otherwise, we're just training people for other employers. We want the best people to work for the government. The government is doing its work for the people, and therefore we want the best work done within the government. And that to do that, we have to have the best workforce.
If passed, the new pay plan would go into effect on April 1st of this year. Proposed legislation was submitted by the governor to appropriate $16 million for the balance of FY23 and $31 million in FY 2024. Nestor LeConto, KUAM News.
Thanks, Ness. Well, 4 months in prison for taking the life of another driver. Charity Alex is sentenced before presiding Judge Alberto Lamorena today. Alex, who pleaded no contest to negligent homicide, got 5 years with all but 4 months suspended. She's expected back in court on March 8th when she will self-surrender and begin serving jail time. It was in July of 2019. Alex was driving near the airport when she crashed head-on into a car being driven by Yun Park. Park died from his injuries 6 days later. Investigators say Alex apparently fell asleep behind the wheel when the crash occurred. Park's family was inside the courtroom as she asked for forgiveness. Alex stating, quote, "I am very ashamed of myself and I feel so much remorse and sorry for the pain and loss I caused to the other family. I really don't deserve your forgiveness, but please know my heart cries in pain, hoping to be forgiven one day." Alex was also ordered to pay more than $51,000 in restitution to Park's family. A string of thefts in Chalampago neighborhood causing frustration. Home security cameras capturing a thief in action at Pago Bay Estates home yesterday morning. Mitsuki Hirayama catches up with the homeowner speaking out.
Not once, not twice, not even 3 times. Pago Bay Estates homeowner Jeremy Sutton says thieves have targeted his home nearly a handful of times since last October. The most recent incident caught on camera happening Tuesday morning in broad daylight.
Specifically yesterday, while I was at work, my camera went off, alerting me that somebody was inside my garage.
Surveillance footage capturing the moment a barefoot burglar takes off with a toolbox from his garage. A toolbox added to a growing list of more than $7,000 worth of items stolen in the past 4 months. But for Sutton, it's not about the stolen items.
It's not the stuff, it's the fact that they're coming here, that my secure area or my sanctity of my residence is being violated by these people, and that being at work, there's nothing I could do if in the instance that they were to enter the house or something.
Sutton witnessing Tuesday's theft through his security camera while he was at work. Even more frightening, his wife at home and alone.
There was a small delay in the camera, so as soon as I saw that, I'm calling my wife, tell her, don't open the door, don't do anything. But it looks like he just, like I said, petty theft, so I don't think his intent was to get into the house.
Still, the string of petty thefts leaving him frustrated with no arrests by the Guam Police Department.
Unfortunately, specifically talking about the amount of petty theft that goes on around here, they weren't able to really do too much. They were going to call it, I think it was a suspended investigation until they can get further information. They had said that on both of the times they've been out here.
Instead, he finds comfort through the community support, many sharing the video on social media. He's also grateful to Ordal Chalanpago Mayor Jesse Gogui, who was among the first to reach out.
He's reaching out, and the community itself has actually been great in posting this video on Facebook and other social medias, circulating it, hopefully to try to capture or at least prevent or stop future iterations of this.
Mayor Gogui also reminds residents to remain vigilant.
We have about 13 neighborhood watch groups, but that still doesn't cover the entire village. And so, if you want to start up a neighborhood watch group, reach out to us and we will do what we can to not only take notice of what's happening in your area, but share it with the other neighborhood watch groups in the community.
If you recognize this thief, you are asked to call Guam Police or report it to Guam Crime Stoppers. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Thanks, Mitsuki. Well, if you're a GW High Gecko alum for at least the past 3 decades, then this next story is for you. You may recall the giant fossilized clam that's been on the Manila campus and used for various student activities. Well, school officials say it suddenly went missing. Destiny Cruz has the story as the geckos hope the community can help them to locate it.
Why would anyone want to steal a giant clamshell? It's a mystery that's left one public school campus shell-shocked. Officials at George Washington High School now searching for its missing fossilized giant clamshell, a gift unique to the home of the geckos that dates back nearly 30 years. While the value may not seem like much to most, GW teacher and advisor to the Marine Biology Mania Club, Alexandra Garrido, says the missing shell had meaning.
It's something that's very significant for myself, past marine biology teachers here, and anyone that's been in GW for decades. And it's most especially for past Marine Mania members that have taken care of it. It's a very unique piece to have in a school setting, and especially in a time where, as a public school student and teacher, we really don't have that much. So having something very unique is so special.
Starting in 1990 with former teacher and original advisor of Marine Mania, Linda Tetro, the clamshell has been an educational resource for students to learn about mollusks and bivalves. It has also been a way for Marine Mania members to bond, caring for the display during the school's monthly Adopt-A-Wing activity.
We take care of this wing. We rake and we pick up trash. We do, minor repairs if needed to certain things, paint. And so one of our tasks that we do every once in a while is to make sure that we keep the display nice and neat. And sometimes when it slips, it collects water, so we have to prop it back up using the rocks that you see over here.
But after one of those cleanups, Garrido says she noticed the cement planter, which typically houses the fossilized shell, was cleaned out.
It was confirmed by a staff member that it was here Saturday morning, and I saw it Friday when I left school. But it wasn't until Monday when I was leaving for the day that I noticed it was gone.
Leaving Garrido puzzled as to how thieves could easily take the nearly 2.5-foot wide shell.
It is a very large and heavy object, so you would need at least 2 people and a truck and the gate open to take it out of here.
Garrido adding she has an idea why the clam was eyed.
In the open market and other places, they sell for thousands of dollars. But again, it is something that culturally is very significant. So probably someone saw it. We have a couple of different ideas. Someone saw it and said, I want it for my yard.
Another reason, the hima is used to make chamorro jewelry, like the sinahi.
Or they know exactly how to open it up, extract the shell, and use it for, whatever type of jewelry or ornaments they want to make. Worst case scenario, someone thought it was a rock and they just picked it up and put it somewhere and I don't know where it's at.
Whether it was a clear misunderstanding or a planned calamity, Garrido just wants it returned to the same spot it's been all these years.
I wouldn't even be mad. I would actually be so happy and surprised if they did bring it back. You could even just come on campus and drop it on the ground. I'll have my students pick it up and we'll place it back in where it belongs. And I just think that would be the right thing to do.
So you see the giant clam anywhere? Garrido says you can call GW's main office at 671-734-2911 or visit Marine Mania on Instagram at Marine Mania GWHS. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Thanks, Destiny. Well, Attorney General Douglas Moylan has filed a motion that, if successful, would allow a 1990 abortion ban law to go into effect. Moylan has petitioned the Guam District Court to vacate a previous order that has essentially stopped the enforcement of the ban since it was signed into law. Pro-choice groups had successfully challenged the statute and remains on hold until now. But Moylan is arguing that last year's U.S. Supreme Court decision in Dobbs' case overruled the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. That means the injunction halting the abortion ban in Guam should also be vacated, and the opposition's motion should be dismissed. We'll have more on the story as it continues to develop. And we'll have more news in a moment. Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
How deep do Pizza Hut's roots run in the islands? Through all the decades, we know what you love. Great taste at an even better price. Like our large 3-topping carry-out pizza for just $13.99. You choose your favorite toppings, meat, vegetables, or any combination that totals 3. Our $13.99 large 3-topping pizza. Order online and carry one out today. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
For your safety and convenience, please listen to this important message. Lower monthly bills in Guam's energy future are coming. The construction of the Ukadu power plant will begin soon, requiring heavy haul components to be transported from the Port Authority to Ukadu. Expect traffic delays as the transport convoy will be traveling on Marine Corps Drive at 1 mile per hour for 12 hours. Please drive carefully. Log on to poweronthemove.org for more information. Doosan Ukadu Power and Doosan Enerbility thank you for your patience.
Welcome back to Primetime. CNMI Governor Arnold Palacios and Lieutenant Governor David Apatang naming 13 department heads in their first announcement of appointments to critical agencies. The announcement comes as they grapple with the island's deficit. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia with the details.
We're very happy that we are now able to begin to constitute our cabinet.
CNMI Governor Arnold Palacios naming 13 department heads in his first group of appointments in his first month in office. Those requiring Senate confirmation are Secretaries of Commerce, Finance, Labor, Public Works, and Lands and Natural Resources. The Governor and Lieutenant Governor David Apatang convened the new leadership in a press conference Wednesday afternoon. Those chosen applied to the post. There are still a number of appointments the executive needs to make, including the Department of Public Safety and its own chief of staff. The appointments were delayed due to the resources being directed to address the deficit.
These are challenging times, to say the least.
A former gubernatorial rival, former House Democrat Tina Sablan, also on the Hill as a senior policy advisor.
As a big part of my focus in this role will be to follow through on the commitments that are outlined in the Unity Pledge that the governor and the lieutenant governor agreed to.
The acting Secretary of Finance, Tracy Narita, says she will sound the alarm if needed when it comes to the government's finances, which are now on life support as they open up the financial books, revealing overspending from the previous administration.
In meeting with the governor and the lieutenant governor, we talked about aligning our values and building integrity and trust in government. And so I am honored to serve in their administration to do that with them to the best of my ability.
Ultimately, Palacios says the buck stops at his desk. Meanwhile, the Senate readies to hold confirmation hearings. Senator Selena Babauta, who chairs the Committee for Executive Appointments, told KUAM, "It is my and the committee's intention to conduct a fair and reasonable confirmation hearing process on all nominees." Tomas Manglonia, KUAM News, Saipan.
And a full list of the appointments can be found now on KUAM.com. Classes back in session tomorrow for Bishop Bangano Memorial Catholic School after a threat was reported yesterday. Officials say threats of gun violence are taken seriously. As we reported, the school taking no chances, temporarily halting classes in response to a student posting photos of firearms on social media. The 14-year-old, who was taken into custody for terroristic conduct, allegedly admitted that he reposted images of guns he found on the internet. The incident sparking a reminder for all to be mindful of what you share online. Guam Homeland Security and Office of Civil Defense spokesperson Jenna Blas also reminding others to report threats.
We're always trying to press that message out to the community that if you see something suspicious, say something to the proper authorities. And whether that can be for a minor, if that's reporting it to a teacher, a parent, a guardian, just making sure that it's somebody that you trust and they'll be able to help share that information with the proper authorities.
Blas adding reports can also be made to the Marianas Regional Fusion Center at 671-475-0400 or via email at mrfc@ghs.guam.gov. The conditions of Guam's public schools was part of today's discussion during the Mayor's Council of Guam meeting. Village mayors sharing concerns over the ongoing problems with the aging facilities. Deputy Mayor Melissa Savares says site visits are being planned to see the scope of work that needs to be done.
With that, there'll be a schedule of site visits at the schools with the GDOE board. And once we get the schedule ready, or when that's ready, I will also put it out on our chat so that if there's a site visit for a school in your village, please attend so that you can see the challenges that that the schools are having. And like Angel said, these problems have not just occurred recently. These have been problems for years and years.
With GDOE school maintenance short-staffed, the village mayors are also asking to reach out to their sister squadrons for help. FBLG and Southern High among the schools in the spotlight recently for their disrepair. Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view captured on the island of Rota of the crystal blue ocean at the Penatang Park in Songsong Village. The Guam National Weather Service forecasting Thursday will be breezy, partly sunny with a 20% chance of isolated showers.
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich.
New Year.
year, new you, new adventures. How about a new Jeep to go along with it? It is the Start Something New sales event happening now at Cars Plus. Experience a new level of freedom and adventure in the new Jeep Gladiator. Or how about the all-new legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee L? The most awarded SUV ever now features a fresh interior design and 3 rows of seating. Call us at 671-477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved online today.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
We have an all Salas KUAM News Zoom room today, everybody, for the sports report, because I'm Jason Salas, of course, and my auntie slash cousin slash awesomeness slash like always welcome here at KUAM, Linda Salas is here, and we are talking about 8 versus 8 flag football for the females. Women's football is back, baby. So, Linda, thank you so much for joining me.
We're looking for women ages 18 and over, players who, whether they never played football or they have played flag football. I also like to reach out with the current tackle women's football players who are still on island, who would like to try something different, where tackling is not the norm here. Flag football, you just pull a flag and that's where you're down.
I was going to say that's a slight transition, because if you're used to, like, you know, knocking somebody out, you got to go for the flag. And but also, like, women, I mean, women's rugby is so huge on Guam. I mean, this is a great way to stay active for all our rugby players.
Yes, I should have went to the Clutch. They had some sort of tournament at UOG. I wanted to go out there and reach out to some of the rugby players. It's not just rugby players. I want to reach out to soccer, basketball, baseball, because I'm grabbing some of those by the handful to come and play flag football. Something I got a few on board.
Okay, now so since this is an 8 versus 8 league, right, Linda? I mean, I've heard of, like men's football, they have 7-on-7 drills, which is more for, the specialist position. So your receivers, your backs, obviously the quarterback, but it's not like a full-on offensive and defensive line. When we talk about 8 versus 8 women's, what type of positions are you looking for?
There's going to be 3 on the line. So 3 offensive lines, women on the front, 3. And then the rest, of course, you got your quarterback, that makes 4. Then the other 4 I can make as wide receivers. But then again, I can always change that up where I can have 2 on the back, like halfback or fullbacks, and 2 wide receivers at the front. Again, that all depends on the play, the formation, and the plays.
Exactly, and that's where your scheme comes in, because you could go, T formation, you could go wishbone, you could go wildcat, you could go collegiate spread, you can go air raid. I mean, there's a million different things you could do.
Exactly.
So just because it's not full on 11 versus 11 doesn't mean this is any less competitive.
Correct. There is plays. It's just except the difference is just the number of people on the field. You don't have 11. You have only 8. The linesmen are ineligible receivers. They cannot be the one to run the ball. Why? Well, one of the reasons why is I'm trying to get some gorgeous former pageant title holders to join. I think Sarah Felish Camacho is probably thinking of joining. I'm trying to get Geneva Bosco to come out.
So Sarah's my cousin, and Geneva's a very, very good friend. Geneva and I co-emceed the Miss Guam pageant after she was Miss Guam. I would say, okay, Sarah, I know can run like a deer, and and if this was tackle, Geneva can take somebody out.
Right. I know Geneva should. She should not worry about.
Oh man, no, tell you what, Linda, I've got a whole roster of wonderful island females, chamaritas I know could really excel in this league. So I'm going to send you that list.
Yes, I want those title holders to come and play, because they don't need to worry about getting tackled.
Okay, anybody who ever ran, we're talking like Miss Guam World, Miss Guam Tourism, like anything like that, please.
Yes. I'm grabbing Morgan Rages. She's the offensive MVP when.
Oh yeah, I remember covering Morgan.
Legacy, remember Morgan?
Yep.
Yeah, she was. She's a good quarterback, darn good quarterback.
And tough as nails. Also, one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. But
yes,
very good. Okay, let's not give everything away, because we're just scratching the surface here. So Linda, we'd love to catch up with you real soon on how the continuing development of this league is going. So we'll touch base.
Thank you.
All right, Linda Salas with the Flag Football Ladies Association of Guam coming to a field near you very, very soon. So make sure to reach out and get in touch.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
What's the move? Catch a groove. She said, where you going? What's the move? Kinda wild out. Catch a groove. What's the move?
I can't make that amount work right now.
Mom, what is it? Can I get new basketball shoes?
We'll see.
Can I please have $20 for my field trip?
I don't know. Can I go to my friend's house after school?
Anak, hindi pwede.
We're all trying our best to make ends meet. The governor's child care programs are helping businesses and working families care for Guam's kids. This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Visit guamchildcare.com to apply today.
Finally tonight, your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Happy birthday on the 1st of February to Xander, who is 1 today. Happy birthday, Xander. We love you so much, says your shout out. And this comes from Uncle Jess, Auntie B, and the family. Happy first birthday, Xander. And Jacob Anthony Valoria, happy birthday to you. Jacob was born on January the 31st. Xander and Jacob, we wish you both blessings, the very best, health, success, and all the world has to offer, because you are birthday celebrants today.
And that's your primetime show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado. Stay safe and good night.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by
Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Hot day, everybody. Welcome to the Hotspot. I'm Jason Salas. Somebody was mentioning something about John Travolta, unfortunately not going to appear on today's show, but we got a lot of really, really good stuff. Welcome back, Cotter. And welcome back to the Hotspot. Let's do this thing.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the fresh Garden Bar.
We have for you today on your show of shows, GovGuam pay increases having been proposed. We'll tell you how much our public sector may be getting. Also, we head out to Hagåtña to go to Boca Talks as Jess Rosario asks the question, are you eating too little? We normally go the other way, but we'll find out about that side. Also, we are going to check out a new Mediterranean restaurant opening up in Tuman. I love Mediterranean food. We are going to find out all about that from the man who will prepare you those amazing Greek meals. But first, as I mentioned, classified government employees in the line agencies for our government could be getting a pay increase to the amount of 22%. The governor on Tuesday approved a new general pay plan submitted by DOA, which was tasked to undertake a comprehensive review and update. The general pay plan adjustment follows similar pay scale updates for law enforcement and education workers last May. The governor says the GPP has not been updated since 2014, as proposed legislation appropriating $16 million for the pay hikes was submitted to by Adelup, to the legislature. If indeed passed, the new pay plan goes into effect, oddly enough, on April Fool's Day of 2023. Well, it's now been nearly 3 years since then President Trump announced emergency measures meant to keep the public safe during the COVID pandemic. Now, the White House says it will end the public emergency declarations in May.
President Biden says in May, the emergency COVID declarations in place since the start of the pandemic will come to an end. The move will mean an end to free testing, treatments, and vaccines.
This is particularly concerning since COVID disproportionately hits those segments of the population that have the most difficulty accessing good medical care and preventive health services.
It could also end Title 42, the Trump-era policy barring asylum seekers from entering the country due to the pandemic. Some Republican-led states have already sued to keep that policy in place. The Supreme Court is set to hear arguments later this month.
full emergency will end when the Supreme Court ends it. We've extended to May the 15th to make sure we get everything done.
While many Republicans want to keep Title 42, they say the administration should be ending other pandemic emergency policies now and plan to vote on a bill to do just that.
Mr. President, if you know it's the right thing to do, don't wait until May. Let's open our country back up again, get our economy back up again.
But Democrats say it takes some time to wind this down right.
We want to make sure that the vaccine remains accessible to people. We want to make sure that testing is available through insurance programs. Those are the types of things that we're concerned about.
Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee holds its first hearing under Republican leadership Wednesday, looking into potential fraud and abuse of federal pandemic relief money.
All right, it's Wednesday, everybody, so you know what that means. It is time for another dose of information that you can use about what you are putting into your body and how it affects you. Jess Rosario is the master, a treasure trove of information when it comes to your diet, and he joins us once again for another episode of Boca Talks. Hafa Jess, what do you got?
Hey, what's up, Jason? And Hafa Guam. This is Jesse Rosario again from the Boca Box, and this is the hotspot on KUAM. It is officially February, and a lot of you guys have started your New Year's resolutions. A lot of you guys have started to go on diets and started wanting to lose weight and take better care of your health. But there's one thing that I wanted to talk about today that I've been getting a lot of questions about. People coming in, signing up on our meal plans, but also asking questions about, am I dieting properly? I'm not losing the weight that I wanted to. What am I doing wrong? And what are some things that I can change? You know, once people start to kind of understand that and make the decision that they want to lose weight, right? The first thing that a lot of people do is they start to go on a caloric deficit. And yes, you have to eat fat when we're also trying to target our weight, right? So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was a lot of times the issue is not that you are starving yourself, right? Because a lot of people think that starving yourself is just basically not eating. But one thing that people tend to do a lot is not eating enough. And can you eat too little where it's counterproductive to your weight loss? And the answer is basically yes, right? A lot of times people will say, okay, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to restrict my calorie intake, and I'm going to go on some sort of meal replacement, right? And they get a shaker bottle like this, put some powder in it, boom, shake it up, boom, that's my breakfast. Then they'll also have maybe a sandwich for lunch, and then for dinner, they'll eat a salad. Caloric-wise, you're looking at eating about 1,000 calories, maybe 1,200 calories, but under 1,200 calories. You're going to eat less than that on this meal plan. For me, I feel safer, and I believe that weight loss is never going to be fast. It has to be gradual, right? So on our low calorie plans, I kind of stick around 1,500 calories because I think that's a safe caloric range for people to not go too extreme and not feel the effects of what really cutting your calories looks like. Now, that's the other thing that we need to talk about is what happens when you go extreme and you start cutting your calories by maybe 1,000 or you start eating under 1,200 calories. And people do this by one, restricting the amount of food that they're eating dramatically, or even they'll like start to not eat and they'll do some sort of like water fast or something like that where they're not getting a lot of calories. Your body then goes into what we call starvation mode, right? And what ends up happening is that over time, if you've been doing this for a long time, you start to cause damage to your metabolism. Now, your metabolism is how your body takes in food and how it breaks down and uses that for energy. Some signs of a damaged metabolism is that you're tired throughout the day. Maybe you're working out a lot and you're eating kind of like this, but you're not seeing any progress. You're not seeing any more weight loss. Maybe your libido has slowed down. Maybe you are just not feeling yourself all the time. Those are signs that maybe your metabolism isn't as healthy as it should be. But we want to make sure that once we start looking at eating right, we need to be very gradual. Weight loss and losing weight and eating right is one of the hardest things to do on a day-to-day, just because we have so many options out there that can be very tempting for us, right? I'm a very, very firm believer, again, that in order for me to help people lose weight, in order for me to help people lose fat, there has to be a gradual decrease in calories. And that's why I kind of sit down with people and I'll talk to them, okay, what are you eating? What have you been eating for the past 3 days? I get some sort of caloric range, and then I say, okay, you've been eating 2,200 calories, let's cut that down to 2,000 for this week. Then after this week, let's cut it down to 1,800. That way you don't feel like you're starving. You don't feel like you're restrictive. You don't feel like you're on a diet, because we all know everyone hates being on a diet because of that feeling. We want to make this as realistic as possible. And we have to take a look at really, why are we trying to lose weight? You know, unless you have some sort of medical condition where you have to eat under 1,000 calories, I would not recommend that. Or unless you're trying to like join a bodybuilding competition and you have to be very, very restrictive and very extreme with your caloric intake, you know, you don't have to do that. Let's be real. I'm not trying to compete in bodybuilding, and that's not my lifestyle. So all I want to do for my life is to feel that I'm healthy, to look that I'm healthy. So I take a very realistic approach to the amount of food that I'm eating. I take a realistic approach to the amount of food that I encourage people to eat on a day-to-day, right? But can you eat too little? Yes, you can, right? We don't want to get ourselves trapped into a situation where we're always eating 1,200 calories or less. Because over time, what ends up happening again is that your body just goes into starvation mode, because it doesn't know when it's going to get its next meal. And all it's going to say in kind of like in simplistic terms is like, I don't know when I'm going to get energy, when I'm going to get food. So whatever I eat, because I'm not eating enough, your body's going to store that as fat instead of using it as energy. And honestly, that's just very counterproductive to the goals that you want if it's weight loss and fat loss, right? We want to be able to eat sensibly. We want to be able to eat realistically to a point where we're gradually decreasing our caloric intake, but we're also using it so that we are burning the fat that's on our body, right? One thing to do, right? If you do feel like, okay, I have my metabolism that's kind of damaged, one thing to do is, again, just look at what you're eating, identify the things that you're eating, try to get a basic range for your calories. And if you're having problems with that, you can always come and see me. I do free nutrition consultations or nutrition coaching here at the Boca Box. Come to me, we'll get you set up on a plan that'll help you live a healthier lifestyle for the rest of the year to help you reach your goals. Again, this is Jesse from the Boca Box, and I'll see you next week on the Hotspot.
All right, thanks so much, Jess. Of course, coming to you with the Boca Box as he does each and every Wednesday here on the show, feeding you information. But tell you what, with all due respect to my good friend Jess, we are feeding ourselves real food. We are going to show you the amazing cuisine of the Mediterranean region. See, I'm so hungry I can't even say the word. That is coming up next, and we do what we do here on Guam. We are sharing it with you because we want to tell you about an amazing new restaurant in Tumon that is serving up the amazing cuisine of the Med. That's coming up next. Please stay tuned. This is the Hotspot.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
To the show, as I promised, and we make sure we are good to our word here on the Hotspot. We have some hot food, and we have some cool food, and we have amazing information that you need to know about a new restaurant that is serving up the diverse cuisine of the Mediterranean. I have Jennifer and Chef Stefano here, and they are from the new restaurant Animos. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And thank you for tempting my taste buds. Thank you for making sure that my salivary glands actually work too, because this looks absolutely amazing. First of all, what does the word animos mean?
Animos means wind in Greek.
In Greek?
Yes.
Okay, and joining us from the wonderful country of Greece, Chef, thank you so much. You've been on Guam now 8 months. You are a full-on Guamanian, but you're also using your own heritage as someone from Greece to bring us with this amazing food. So can you explain, what kind of food can people expect? Because Mediterranean cuisine, it's so rich and so diverse in so many different countries.
Yes. First of all, thank you for having us here. We are very, very pleased to be in Guam, such a fantastic place, and bringing you from our homeland in Greece, the Mediterranean food. And we are inspired with this food from our story since we are young. We grow up with this kind of food from I can tell you millions of stories about all the food that's the idea why I become a chef, and how much I love the food, and especially Greek food. But also Mediterranean has a lot of styles, as we said, from Spain, from Italy, Lebanon, Turkish. I mean, there are a lot of kind of styles, and that's what we are trying to bring here actually, is a base from my country, Greece, and several other Mediterranean meze or tapas, you already know, from other countries also.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jen, one of the things that I've always appreciated as someone who really loves food about Mediterranean cuisine is, as we can see right here, it's so colorful. Yes. Plating alone, 10 out of 10 for you guys and everything. It's so vibrant, the way it literally leaps off the plate and pretty soon into my mouth, FYI, spoiler alert. But it's the oils, the breads, the textures, the colors and everything like that. And this is definitely going to come out for people that come in to have an amazing meal.
Yes, absolutely. Everything is going to look like this, even better, because it's going to be fresh when we actually serve it to the guests. And a lot of ingredients are fresh, literally fresh, flown in from Greece. And, it's something definitely that you won't have here on Guam, and everything about Animos and our food is new here. So
okay, now for many people, many of my fellow Guamanians, right, I'm sure they have never been able to try Greek cuisine and everything. So when they try it for the first time, when they open your menu, what can they expect to see, and what is a really good a starter meal, if you will, to get those really rich flavors?
Well, Chef can help you with that, so that would be the best person to ask.
Who knows better than the man himself?
With the food, so.
Yeah, actually, we always start with the salads, and what we'd like to do is bringing the Greek salads, which everybody around the world knows very well. A tourist, when comes to Greece, the first thing he asks is a Greek salad, because of the ingredients are fresh, because of the feta cheese, and of course the olive oil. Let me mention to you that from July that I have been here, our first steps was to bring the fresh products here, and one of these was, of course, the olive oil that we want to bring from Mytilene, which is an island of Greece, and it's a very fresh and biological olive oil. So we start with salads. This is the caprese salad. This is the Greek salad. Caprese salad is the Italian. We brought from Italy, from a special village, the burrata, which is very rare for a lot of countries to have also, not only Guam. The burrata is from a buffalo milk, And it's when you cut it, it's almost melting because of the fresh milk it has inside. So we combined it with basil pesto, and this is a very good way to start your meal.
And it's interesting, Chef, because I mean, taking a look at these two salads right here, we'll try and get like a nice shot of the caprese salad. Very, very simple, and I think that's the point, right?
Yes,
it's very point. Contrast to the Greek salad. There's a little bit more total ingredients.
It's the onion, it's the olive oils, the pepper, the caper, and of course the feta cheese, which is more sour than the buffalo.
And so this is what you would get started when you have like a proper meal and everything. What would be the next course?
The next course we are having several ideas for tapas, or we call it in Greece, we call it mezes. It's the idea, the concept that we want the people to embrace here. It's like exactly we eat in Greece, in a small taverna or a small restaurant. We go there starting with ouzo, which is a Greek liquor, or raki, which is again like, let's say, sake in Japan. It's like something like that. So
is it consumed cold or warm? Like sake? Cold sake. Okay.
Cold. So the thing is, like, when you start drinking this with small portions, you also start to eating with small portions. We call it meze. People know meze as tapas. So small, tiny ideas of food. This is Imam Baldi. The idea came from Constantinople or Istanbul, known today. And of course, we have the spread, taramosalata with pita bread, and tzatziki, which is very known in Greece also, which is with fresh yogurt, garlic, and cucumber inside. It's very tense. It's not like it's very tense. We put it also in our pita bread with souvlaki. So starting with small portions, the people start drinking and experience all the taste. Then you want to continue with more meze.
Yeah, I've heard that alcohol has that effect on some people. I've heard. Okay, now when it comes to the yogurt, I know yogurt is such a big part of Mediterranean.
So we change this up a bit, even though we have our main menu. So you're going to experience everything different about the restaurant, just from the ambiance, from the food, from the drinks. Even when you walk in, you'll feel like you're in a totally different place.
Right.
It's just amazing, and I can't wait for everybody to try it. It's just something I'm looking forward to. I have a big selection of that.
Okay. So for those of you, and once Animos is open and everything, for those of you, Lent is coming up. This is very, very Lent friendly.
Yes, of course. The Mambaldi also is for something that you go to home to eat it. So we have of the pepper.
Okay, and then real quick, Chef, for people that like and they want to try, they very, very much like meat and they like their proteins and everything.
In the oven with a special gravy that we created with all the herbs inside.
Wow.
And then the other version is grilled only with salt and pepper in the fire. So when you go to a tavern in Greece and order this kind of meat, you cannot order just one piece. We say we eat it by the...
This program lineup is brought to you by Vision Express.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
KUAM News.